everyone, let's just go straight into the material on the historical journey to the Round Table Conference. Okay everyone, the first material will be explained by Sugiyarti.
The Round Table Conference was a diplomatic negotiation between Indonesia, the Netherlands, and BFO in The Hague, Netherlands, which took place on August 23rd until November 2nd, 1949. The aim was to resolve the post-proclamation conflict and achieve recognition of Indonesia's sovereignty. The next slide is background. So after Indonesia proclaimed independence on August 17, 1955, the Netherlands tried to regain power through military aggression, one in 1957 and the second one in 1958. Previous negotiations, such as Linggarjati and Renville, did not provide a permanent solution. Pressure from the UN and other countries eventually forced the Netherlands to convene the RTC as a final step towards conflict resolution.
Next, I will explain it myself. Time and place. Held in The Hague, Netherlands, August 23rd until November 2nd, 1949. Participants involved Indonesian, Dutch, and UN delegation. Objectives: to discuss and agree on the recognition of Indonesian sovereignty by the Netherlands. Important figures: Indonesian delegation led by Muhammad Hatta, leader of the Indonesian delegation at the Round Table Conference. Then there is Muhammad Rem as an Indonesian diplomat and negotiator at Round Table Conference. And J.H. van Reygen, leader of the Dutch delegation. Then Willem Drees, Prime Minister of the Netherlands during the Round Table Conference. Then there was Sultan Hamid II, leader of the BFO Federal Consultative Assembly, representing the federal status in Indonesia. And the last Brigadier G. Raka Soekarti, representative of the state of each Indonesia in the Round Table Conference. Future explained by Zahra.
The negotiations were fraught with tension and were a pivotal moment for Indonesia's future. There were three main points of focus. First, full recognition of Indonesian sovereignty by the Netherlands, a long-awaited end to colonialism. Second, the establishment of the Republic of Indonesia's Union, a federal state which was expected to unite the various regions and politics in Indonesia. And third, the issue of West Papua, which was still controlled by the Netherlands and become a major problem that would continue for years to come. After long and compromising negotiation, there was finally an encouraging result. On December 27, 1949, the Netherlands finally recognized Indonesian sovereignty, albeit with some pretty big stipulations. First, Indonesia became the Republic of Indonesian Union, not a unitary state as many had hoped, which led to political instability for several years afterwards. Second, the Netherlands withdrew its troops and Indonesia now completely controlled its territory, except for West Papua, which the Netherlands still retained. And third, Indonesia had to accept the Dutch East Indies debt of 4.3 billion guilders, which was a heavy burden for the newly independent country.
Apabila kita sekarang berkumpul di keliling meja bundar ini, maka segala pihak pasti mempunyai keyakinan bahwa pemusyawaratan kita di sini harus mencapai wujudnya, yaitu penyerahan kedaulatan yang penuh dan nyata kepada bangsa Indonesia dengan tiada bersyarat. Akhirnya, setelah 4 tahun berunding dan bertempur dengan pengorbanan jiwa dan harta yang tidak sedikit, yang sebenarnya sangat berguna bagi pembangunan masyarakat dan produksi, maka terbukalah pikiran bahwa penyelesaian yang cepat harus dicapai. Pengalaman yang pahit di masa yang lampau memberi kenyataan bahwa hanya satu-satunya jalan untuk menyelesaikan soal Indonesia ialah penyerahan kedaulatan dengan tidak bertanggung. Kisah perundingan di masa yang lampau memberi kenyataan bahwa pokok adalah Indonesia sudah merdeka. Republik Indonesia Serikat telah berdiri, diperlengkapi dengan kedaulatan yang penuh dan nyata. Ini adalah suatu tuntutan psikologi massa yang tak boleh kita abaikan. Suatu soal irasionalisme memang, tetapi jangan disia-siakan. Tuan Ketua yang terhormat, saya berpendapat manakala kita yang berunding di sini meja bundar ini dengan sungguh-sungguh mau mencari penyelesaian dalam soal Indonesia yang akan berakhir dengan penyerahan kedaulatan yang penuh dan nyata dan tidak bersyarat, maka kita harus memusatkan minat kita terhadap kepentingan masa datang daripada bangsa kedua belah pihak. Apabila pandangan kita dipusatkan ke situ, maka pertikaian paham amat akan kecil sekali dan maksud konferensi meja bundar ini akan lekas terselenggara. 4 tahun lamanya rakyat kita timbal balik hidup dalam persengketaan dengan merasa dendam dalam hati. 4 tahun lamanya kita berjuang dan berbunuh-bunuhan, mengorbankan jiwa dan harta dengan percuma. Marilah kita sekarang memulai sejarah baru di atas dasar damai dan kerjasama. Bangsa Indonesia dan bangsa Belanda kedua-duanya akan memperoleh bahagianya. Anak cucu kita, angkatan kemudian akan berterima kasih pada kita. Moga-moga Tuhan Yang Maha Kuasa memberkati pekerjaan kita pada konferensi meja bundar ini. Sekianlah dan terima kasih.
And the last material will be explained with Pinkan.
And the next information is impact and implications. Indonesia was recognized as a de jure sovereign state. The formation of RES caused political instability until it was finally dissolved on August 17, 1950, returning to the Republic of Indonesia. West Papua was still in dispute until it was finally returned to Indonesia in 1963. And the final conclusion is the RTC was a crucial step in Indonesia's diplomatic struggle, marking the end of Dutch dominations, although it did not immediately resolve all issues, especially regarding West Papua.